Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into the pod today. I'm your host, the Unhinged Father. Hope you're all having a fantastic week so far. Happy Friday, going into the weekend. Hopefully, got a good one for you today. That's for you to decide. Let's go ahead and jump into the episode. So, I wasn't sure where to start this, if I wanted to go negative and just bitch about something, or if I wanted to start with something positive that we can all learn from. And it's just been one of those weeks so far. So, I'm going to jump right into the negative, me bitching about something. But it's this new trend that I've been seeing on Instagram, TikTok, and it's got to be one of the dumbest things I've seen so far. It is not funny. I've seen a lot of people doing it, but it's essentially you've got two people and then like some Street Fighter music comes on or some sort of like fight game music comes on. They take stances like they're characters in the game, and then they start fucking bobbing back and forth, and one throws a punch like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I work hard, pow. And then like the dad's like, yeah, but I go to work and I work really hard, boom. And then like it comes to some sort of conclusion and they're like both knocked out. But holy shit, that is just fucking stupid. And I've seen a lot of people do it. I've seen it like pop up everywhere. I don't know if some people think that's funny or if they're like, oh, this is clever. But to me, it's corny and just none of them have been funny. Even from people that I follow, there's certain people I think are funny who have done this trend. And I just feel like we're back at the Tide Pods with this one. This is just one that's not hitting. And I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, but for me, I really hope that this one has come to an end. Just like Tide Pods, just like super baggy ass jeans hanging down below your ass, just like man buns or mullets or fucking rat tails. I really hope that this trend comes to an end soon, because even though it doesn't truly affect my life, it is just obnoxious when I see it and it makes me upset. I don't know why I get so angry at it. I'm sure that the people that are doing this trend are nice people and that, you know, they think that it's clever and they're just going along with whatever Instagram or the algorithms are telling them to do. But let's just stop, everyone. It's fucking stupid. It's not funny. No one gives a shit. Let's just end it right there. Coming in hot on that first one, just with a lot of rage, a lot of anger, a lot of judgment of other people, even though I'm sitting in my office talking to myself, trying to come up with shit to talk about, and then doing dumbass Instagram posts myself to get people to try and listen to the podcast. Another thing that's been coming up, and this is actually something that is more so related to me going to the gym, trying to eat better, taking better care of myself, trying to become stronger and stronger as a person, both mentally and physically and emotionally. But this concept of dad strength is something that I've just really been kind of holding on to. When I'm in the gym, when I'm working out, when I see all these youngsters in there with their Chuck Taylors or their Crocs or no shoes whatsoever, flip-flops, their Lululemon shit, just chiseled. A lot of them are in good shape because they're 18 fucking years old. And what 18-year-old who goes to the gym isn't in good shape? They've got great metabolism. They don't have to worry about not having time. Like, these kids should be fucking jacked, right? And I come in there, some 36-year-old, testosterone starting to go down, overly tired dad who barely has time to take a piss in peace. And I come in and of course I'm looking at other people lifting in the gym. I want to make sure that I'm the strongest one there. Obviously, the theme that rings through my mind and that keeps on motivating me is having dad strength, being a strong dad, being able to pick up my kids, being able to do sports with them, and continuing to have this vibrancy, this strength into, I say older age, but quote unquote older age, going into my 40s and my 50s when my kids are getting into their teenage years. And it's something I think is it's a good idea. I like the concept of dad strength, not only just like that old man strength that you get when you get older, obviously, but just the fact that when you're a dad and you're in certain circumstances, like you can pull upon this place that no one else has, that it's just this like infinite source of energy, of strength, of power, a place deep within you that you are not going to let down those kids. You're not going to let down your family. You are going to succeed no matter what. And this could be for the most mundane things ever, right? Like an example of this would be that we had to take my eldest son once to the hospital. My wife was like 8 months pregnant. He had a really bad croupy cough. He couldn't breathe. Had to take him to the ER at like 1 a.m. Bunch of homeless people, drunk people, fucking people high on drugs in there. And this was like pretty much the height of COVID. So everyone's wearing masks, everyone's coughing. My wife's pregnant and she's, germophobic at this point. And so I held him And he's like a 40-pound kid. And I just held him for about 4 hours. We didn't sit down, held him, and now it ripped my shoulder completely apart. And I still have pain from it. And, was it necessary? No, absolutely not. It was not necessarily. Sure, we could have sat down somewhere, but it was just that in that moment, that was an important thing to our family. And I was able to just hold him that entire time. And it took a lot to dig deep. And I know this sounds dumb. Like, oh, you held your kid. Dude, try and hold a 40-pound weight for 4 hours while you're in a miserable shithole at 3 a.m. It's not fun. Anyways, that's just a little bit of a divergent path right there. ADHD creeping in. Sorry about that. Anyways, it's just this idea of dad strength. I think it's something to cultivate. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with that yet, or how it can be utilized to impact not only my life, but the dads and the families that are within my group, and even outside of that, starting to make a bigger impact within other people that are close to my inner circle, and continue to like kind of pour that out and, share the dad strength with everyone. I don't think it's something that has to be relegated to dads only. Like, dad strength is just a certain type of strength. Other parents can dip into it too. I'm just going on a little bit of like a mind path here that I don't really know where it goes, but there's something about dad strength, that idea, that concept that is really drawing me towards it. And I'm going to continue to hash it out and work through it. But I wanted to at least mention it on the pod today because I could use help with it. I want to know what other people think about dad strength. Is it something that you understand, something that you've experienced in your past, or currently with your own kids? If you're a dad, I'd love to hear about what dad strength means to you. If you're a mom, what does dad strength mean to you? I mean, everyone has experiences before, because you were a kid one point, you had a dad. I'm sure that dad hopefully showed you these aspects of himself, this dad strength that he had. Yeah, that's all I've hashed out so far. Hashtag dad strength crew. Moving on into another aspect of parenting that is kind of really right at the forefront of where me and my wife are at is setting boundaries with kids. And this is something that is super difficult because we don't actually do that a lot. Like, we tell kids no, and we tell them we don't do this or you don't do that type of stuff. But actually setting boundaries is way different than what a lot of parents actually do. And I'm guilty of it myself. I'll just be like, hey, don't do that. Don't hit your brother. Don't do this. If you do that, I'm taking away your toy. If you do this, I'm taking away this thing. Like, you're not going to be able to watch TV later. You're kind of setting a boundary, but you're not really being specific within it. And there's a lot of anger and frustration and being overwhelmed that comes into that, right? You're usually doing it at this moment where you were just boiling over. You're at your wit ends and you just say something like, don't do that, or no TV for a fucking week. And, you're never going to fucking hold to that boundary, because sometimes when they watch TV, it's like your break. Like, you get to sit down and chill for 2 seconds, or you get to watch TV with them, like watch a movie with them. It's something I'm working on, and just something that I wanted to vet out here on the pod as well, is that you should be doing these boundaries prior to you losing your fucking shit, right? For example, I see my elder son is getting frustrated with his little brother and might be getting a little aggressive with him. And I say something to the effect of like, hey, bud, I see that you're getting really frustrated with your little brother. If you push him and push him down, the toys that you guys are playing with, they're going to be taken away. You're not going to be able to play with those toys, because it seems like right now you're having a hard time sharing these toys with each other. Until you guys can learn how to share toys together, or these toys specifically together, I'm going to have to remove them from the equation so that way you two can stay safe. Now, I'm probably not going to say it exactly like that, right? That sounds really child psychologist, child therapist, Insta mom, Insta dadish, but something to that effect where you're like, not out of anger. You explain to them, this is what's going on. This is why I don't want you to do it. This is going to be the consequence if you do this again. And then holding to that boundary. And that's the real big thing, is like, where is that turning point from where you're going to enforce this consequence, whatever that consequence may be? Taking a toy away, carrying them to their room if they don't want to go to bed. You're giving them a choice that they could either walk with you with a toy, or, you're going to carry them and they have to leave their toys in the living room. But where is that inflection point? Where is the point to where you are going to start enforcing that consequence? That's really where the boundary starts. And having a clear definition of it in an uncharged way is a good way to really help your child understand what their boundaries are, and then the hope is that will help alter future behavior without making it to where your child just becomes a brainless robot. Because I think about it sometimes, like, I want my child to fucking push back. I want them to ask questions when they're older. I don't want them to just sit there and be an automaton and just listen to whatever other people say, not question it, go along with stuff. Like, that's not what I want for my child. But I also want him to be able to listen to me and to follow direction in a reasonable way, especially when those directions are important. The hope is that by setting these clear-cut boundaries, showing him where the inflection point is where that consequence is at, and then also explaining to him why we're doing this. Like, hey, we're doing this to keep you and your brother safe. If you push your brother, you can potentially hurt your brother, and that's unsafe for both of you. So again, I think that these are all ideas that are really difficult to do in the moment, but they're things that I'm working on right now. And I don't have it all worked out yet either, right? It's kind of hard. I have this old school mentality that I grew up with that I know causes some really shitty side effects as well. I'm able to like read the new stuff and some of the new child psychology, look at some of the stuff that the, LCSWs or the LMFTs and all of the different psychologists and therapists and everyone else. There's all of this information that's being posted on social media, written in books, put on TV. All of this information is out there for us to reach out and grasp. I'm trying my best to wade through the waters cautiously and trying to find a way to incorporate some of the things that I think that we've lost in today's culture, today's society when raising children, and then incorporate that into the new school stuff, some of the newer things that I was just talking about. And damn, it's hard because there are certain times where I just want to be like, he's like, why? My son asked me, why am I doing this? And I just want to be like, because I fucking said so, bud. All right. That's the end of the story. Just do it. And I'm not trying to shame anyone because that kind of stuff still happens with me. I still get frustrated. I still get angry. There's been a couple of times where I've lost my cool and I've raised my voice to a point where it scares my child, and not like I'm going nuts and hitting walls and stuff, but yeah, I'm 6 foot, 280 pounds, can be intimidating to a little child, especially if they see some real anger or frustration in my eyes. And I'm not proud of doing that. And it got him to change his behavior quickly, but it also, like, I saw the fear in his eyes for a second and it fucking killed me because I was just like, I don't want my kid to be afraid of me. I want my kid to respect me. And sometimes people will say there's a certain amount of fear that comes in with respect, but it's different than the fear that I saw in his eye. The fear that I saw in his eyes was the fear of uncertainty and of unsafety. And like I said, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't fucking punch walls. I wasn't hitting anyone, but just that dysregulation in myself, that anger that came through, was enough to scare the shit out of him. And I don't like that. So all of that being said, it's a difficult path that parents are on right now. We got a lot of shit that we're dealing with, and every generation has new things that they're dealing with, but we're in unprecedented times with the internet, with social media, with just the way that society and culture are, with the way that the government is. Just, there's so much going on. And I truly feel like in the past, they used to like leave kids alone. Like, obviously they had like child workshops and would try to exploit them for work and things like that. But now it's more of like a exploitation of the ideological sense, where children are constantly under attack. Their innocence is under attack. They're being pulled in so many different directions, and it's like a power struggle. They're caught in the middle of a power struggle right now, and it's scary for them and it's scary for the parents. So I think that anything that we can do to try and help raise our kids, make them happy, healthy, protect them, and lead them on a path towards like good behavior is a good thing. But there's a lot of different things that I realize I just went around in a loop-de-loop and all over the place. If I haven't mentioned it before, I am, what would they call it nowadays? They'd call me neurodivergent. So basically I'm batshit crazy. Sorry for taking you on all those loop-de-loops, but I just had a lot of ideas coming out. And all of this is really to try and figure out what's best for my kids, what's best for me, what's best for my family. How can we best live in the society and leave a lasting impact? And for any of you parents out there that don't have any boundaries for your kids, yeah, whatever, do whatever the hell you want. I'm not here to tell you how to live your lives. But I'll tell you this much, even though I'm not telling you what to do, is that your kid's going to be a little fucking terror if you don't start implementing some of those boundaries. Little Skylar Rose Asparagus Kale the Third is going to be a little shithead. Enough on that. Yeah, moving right along, going right into the last subject that I wanted to go over. This is one that's going to be of the utmost importance in the next couple of months. We've got summer on the way. If you hadn't already listened to my short, go back, listen to it about the Bug Assault 3.0. Again, not an official sponsor. Maybe that'll change someday, but the bugs are coming because the hot weather is coming. And I heard the other day that our fair governor in this completely not insane state of California, they have a recommendation at what your air conditioner should be set at during the summertime. And that temperature is 78 degrees. I don't know about you, but that is absolutely unacceptable. Horseshit, batshit crazy. Who the fuck can sleep or live in a house that's 78 fucking degrees? You know who? Fucking demons and crazy people. Those are the only two. So if you're one of those two and you can hang out in a 78-degree house, good on you. Not in this household. I will, at the max, put my thermostat up to like 73 on those really hot days, maybe 74 during the day, just to give my AC a little bit of a break. But at nighttime, man, I'm cranking that motherfucker down to like 63, 64, because I cannot sleep if the room is above a certain temperature. And 78 degrees just seems absolutely crazy. Like you could cook meat in 78-degree, smoker. I don't know if anyone actually listens to the recommendations of our government, because I know that there's no fucking way that I'm going to. And in this household, people know not to touch the thermostat. That's the one stereotype that's 100% true in our household, is that dad is in charge of the thermostat. Now, it helps that I have a electronic one. I have like the Nest, and I'm the only one who has access to the app itself, because no one else has really taken the time to ask me to do that. And when I say no one else, I mean my wife. She's the only one who has a phone and can get access to the app and can actually change stuff electronically. But dad's in charge. I try and keep it relatively comfortable for the remainder of the family. But 78 degrees is just an asinine number. And I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that 78 degrees is acceptable? Is that something that you're going to do? Are you going to follow the rules? If you're one of those perfectionists and you follow every fucking law and recommendation, and when you get a new item, you read through the instruction manual 3 times, are you going to follow this suggestion, or are you going to just stick it to the man, give them an obscene gesture, and then crank that bitch down to like 68, 67? Because that's where I'm at. That's what I'm going to be doing. This house is going to stay cool this summer. There's no way in hell that we're going 78 degrees on the thermostat. And then looks like it's just going to be about time for this episode of the pod. I appreciate y'all being here. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if there's anything within the episode that you disagree with, that you agree with, that you're like, yeah, no, I can get on board with that. Give me a follow on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you feel so inclined, give me a 5-star review. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and X. I have not made the jump to TikTok yet. I'm just not sure if my millennial bones can handle that kind of stress. All that being said, if you think there's anyone that would enjoy this show, enjoy this episode, please share it with them. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. And as always, be good, try hard, do your best.